So I'm Sarah, I'm a life coach and I'm a comedian, and I moved to New York the beginning of January to become a star, right? That's why we all moved here, right? I had started comedy in DC and it had gone really well right away. I went to film school actually, and did well, and then kind of never went anywhere with it. And then I was doing improv and did well, but kind of never went anywhere with it. And I always wanted to do stand-up, but it seemed so far away to me. I didn't know what the open mic process was like, and so when I first knew that I wanted to perform stand-up comedy, I started studying other female comics. Like, okay, well, what are people doing out there, right? And I saw an Amy Schumer show at the Arlington Draft House with a bunch of my girlfriends who I had just started doing open mics with, and I just was like, oh my gosh, if she can do this, I can do it, right? Not that there's anything wrong with her, but there was something so right about her that I was like, oh my gosh, my people, right? My people exist in the world. And I remember even saying to somebody like afterwards, like, I could do better, you know, which is completely not true, but she was so inspiring to me, right? What she was doing was just right on the money to me. So 2 years later, I decided to move to New York, and I was really crushing it in DC. I was an anomaly there. I was irreverent and Jewy and positive, and I was getting a lot of stage time. Well, I moved to New York, and nobody cared about me at all. I was just like everybody else. Apparently, I don't know how to write jokes. I'm not funny at all. The one club that I was in with, which kind of was like why I felt ready enough to move, was sold immediately, so I lost all of the potential stage time that I had had, and I was living in this crappy apartment in Brooklyn. It was like a 2007 renovation, but it was cheaply done, so every time you'd pull a doorknob, it would like pop out of the door. I moved here on the week, I don't know if you remember, it was like 8 degrees out. Well, like the heat didn't work, so I'm like under blankets shivering, like this is New York, I'm here to be a star. I'm totally miserable. My mother's calling me every day like, I'm coming to get you right now. And I'm like, I'm fine, I'm an adult, and I'm in New York to be an artist, right? This is a part of the process, but really I'm like praying for a miracle. I'm a life coach, and so I talk all day to people about taking risks, and if anything was possible, what would it be like? And what would you, if you could just, if anything happened, I'm spending all the time visualizing with people, right? And now I'm in New York, in this horrible place, completely depressed, ready to quit, and I couldn't even believe that I had moved. I wanted to go back and like work in my real estate job so bad, because at least I had a paycheck and healthcare benefits, you know? So I decided to do a phone call with my friend Katie's spiritual advisor. I've never really been into this stuff, but Katie was having like marvelous results, and she was just getting things predicted left and right, you know. So I thought, okay, well, and she was finding out, you know, stuff about her history and like all this story around what her parents' life was like, and finding out all this information about stuff, right? Psychics, amazing. I'm desperate, so I'm like, fine, I'll do a call with Karen. I get on the call with Karen. She starts reading my energy. It's actually too blocked to read. She can't see anything about me. And I'm like, oh my God, am I gonna die? Does this mean that my life's about to end? You know, I'm like full panic. We do a lot of breathing work. We unpack my fear backpack. I drink half a glass of water and go like, I like pray the spirits away that are holding me down, right? I'm visualizing my future. And she's really, I can read people. I can tell that she's on this call kind of like, I don't really know what to tell you. You know, she was saying a lot of stuff that like may have been find outable on Facebook. From 2004 to 2008, you had a period of higher learning. It's like, okay, I went to college. This is terrible, right? And it's like $200. At the end of the call, she's like, so this is obviously all about your career, but I'm gonna tell you right now, you're gonna be fine. If you had to say who your inspirations were, like if you were gonna create a blueprint for your career, whose career do you want? So I'm like, well, I kind of want to be a blend of like Ellen meets Lena Dunham meets Louis meets Amy Schumer. And I'm like, really what Amy's doing is what I want, because she has a show and she's like a Judd Apatow movie coming out, can you believe it? And she dated a hot comic, and like she just seems like she's doing it exactly how I would want to do it, right? She gets really quiet and she's like, do you know Amy? I'm like, no. She's like, whoa. You're gonna talk to Amy in the next few days. So I'm like, okay, get off the call. And I'm really annoyed because what a specific thing to tell me, you know? Like it's one thing to be like, my career's gonna be okay, and then I can carry that around in my pocket, like my career's gonna be okay, my career's gonna be okay. This was so annoying to me that I didn't even share it with Katie, who I called right after to complain about this call, about how I got nothing out of it. And we unpacked my fear backpack, and I don't know, she didn't really say much. She said my career's gonna be fine. She's like, okay. Meanwhile, I'm circling like Amy Schumer in my notebook, like with hearts around it, like Amy Schumer question mark. I even have it, Amy Schumer question mark. So Next morning, go to bed, no big deal. Next morning I wake up, not kidding you, my friend Laura Prangley, who was like one of the only people I knew who was a comic when I moved here, sends me a Facebook post from Amy Schumer's personal Facebook wall. I'm not Facebook friends with her. That's like, hey, looking for a female comic to live in my apartment for free for 3 months. Email me if you get this. So Laura sends me this. She's like, you have to, because she knew I hated my apartment, and also that I had no income at the time. I moved here with no clients, so whoops, like take a risk, right? So of course my mother's like having panic attacks, right? She's not wrong. So I'm like, oh my God, I have to respond. So I'm panicking because I'm like, what if this is the moment? And I'm like, no, I shouldn't say anything. I shouldn't respond. Like, this is too good to be true. I'm like, no, I'm totally panicked. So finally I respond. I spend hours writing this email like, hello Amy, my name is Sarah. I'm living in this apartment in Brooklyn with these 2 people that I can't talk about German art with anymore, and I've got to get out of here. And if anything else, just know that I'm your biggest fan, and I was just this nervous email, okay? 2 hours later, she responds, thank you for the kind words. What's your phone number? An hour after that, her sister called me and was setting up the details for me to move into an apartment February 1st. Amy was going on the road. She watched my material online. She loved me, and I can live in her apartment for free for the next 3 months if I'm interested. So I'm like, oh my God, how can this be happening? All of a sudden I'm telling everybody to call my psychic. I'm like, this is the best experience of my life. and my whole world, I mean, I'm a life coach and I'm actually good at my job again because I'm like, miracles are everywhere, anything's possible. So I lived in Amy's apartment for 3 months. I saved money, which I didn't have the opportunity to do before. I fell in love in Amy's apartment, and I got to pretend that my life was the way that I would want it to be in the future. I actually got to visualize in real life what I was going for, you know? So instead of recounting the experiences that I had in her apartment, I would like to share with you, if it's okay, just the thank you note that I wrote to her. When I wrote it at the time, I wanted to share it as a public letter, and I thought, well, that's too impersonal, you know, because this is really for her. And then when this show came up, I thought, well, it's a perfect opportunity. If anyone's interested in knowing how grateful I am to Amy Schumer, this is how grateful I am. This is my letter to her. Amy, I haven't used it, but inside Amy Schumer's apartment is by far my best credit to date. I don't really know how to properly express the love and gratitude I feel for you. You've given me the most amazing introduction to New York and New York comedy that I could have imagined. I didn't really get it when I moved in January, but New York is intimidating, hard to get around, and unbelievably overwhelming. For 3 weeks, I was in Brooklyn, and I was totally paralyzed by fear. You caught me at a time when I was calling phone psychics for support. I really needed this. By being in this apartment, I had easier access to the city, more access to myself as a writer, got to practice being a risk taker and also a responsible adult. You helped me practice more giving, more receiving, and more hope. You inspired my boldness, even if I bombed in front of a booker or said something awkward to another comic or accidentally brown-nosed a club owner. Oops. At the very least, by being here, I was receiving the support of literally my #1 living inspiration. I'm not sure you realize how huge that is. You are in the same camp as Nora Ephron, Gilda Radner, and Lucille Ball. Your picture is in the subway next to your picture. When I had my first few New York City meltdowns, I was able to do so in the comfort and safety of this cozy treehouse in the sky. When I needed to, I was able to be alone and express myself and put Post-its on the wall and weep without some Asian fashion intern blogging about me in the room next door. I was able to feel my feelings and afford seamless and seamless and seamless and seamless. Every day began and ended with built-in gratitude, and grateful has now become my go-to state of being, and that's influencing every part of my day, every day. If I ever waver again, this experience will always serve as a reminder of the power of faith and trust in something greater than myself. You know how they say leap and the net will appear? I left to New York with literally $0 in the bank, not having thought anything through, and you were my net. No joke, I wasn't going to be able to pay my rent in February and also eat. You restored my faith in the universe and the belief that anything is possible. Oprah knows who you are, and you know who I am. You connect me to Oprah, you connect me to God. Thank you for sharing this palace with me, seriously. More importantly, thank you for the work that you do. Thank you for your bravery, thank you for telling the truth, for sharing your warmth, and for being such a powerful female leader in the world. Thank you for sharing our experience in a way that's accessible to men. You're a major player in a huge cultural conversation. That is so awesome. Thank you for your voice. You make women look good. Thank you for giving me and all the plebs a dope, sex-positive boss lady to look up to. I only hope that I can give back to the world with the same magnitude and grace as you, and I promise that I'll pick somebody cool to live in my apartment when I'm on my own adventure. With love and gratitude, Sara Armour.